Good morning, everybody here in Avos Shalom, a YouTube channel and in Torah Anytime. Erev Shavuos, special Shiur of Shavuos. I mean, it's a regular Amud Yomi Shiur. There's nothing irregular about Torah. Torah is always exciting. And we're going to do the regular Amud. And I just want to say that Erev Shavuos is very, very important to learn because Shavuos is called Shavuos, weeks, because the idea is the weeks leading to the Yom Tov are more important. You have to prepare yourself to receive the Torah. Because Hashem gives the Torah every time anew on Shavuos. There's a new Kabbalah Torah, and you have to be a receptacle, be ready to receive it. So the more Torah we learn before, the better. Cheers, Lo Yinish Masav Imeram Nachem Ben Akiva Ruth Bas Shalom Sar Bas Moshe Hen Yaresha Bas Elchon Nitzchok Elfuas Elebas Tomo and Leabas Etel Chaya and Lefuas Chaim Ben Sete. We said yesterday as follows. One person rented a donkey to his friend. You can imagine a car, but in this case it's a donkey because cars did not exist yet. Now, the person has a donkey and the donkey died in the middle of the way. Now, how far does the obligation of the owner of the chamor go? How far does it go? How much does he have to, what kind of trouble does he have to go to provide the poor renter with a new donkey? Yeah, which means if the person said, I have to provide you a donkey, any donkey, give him another donkey right away, right? Customer service. Yeah, you're mechuyev. Now, what happens if the owner of the donkey, the one who was renting it out, said, I'm supposed to give you this donkey and only this donkey? Then we said, depends. If the carcass, the dead body of the chamor is worth X amount of money, and you can sell the dead body, which is still subjugated to the soicher, sell it, and buy yourself another donkey and rent it out to him. That's so far so good. Everyone agrees to that. Where did we have Machlokes Rav Shmuel? And we're going to start now again in the Itmar. Line starts with the word karna in the middle of the page. Yeah, we're going back a little bit because we want to summarize and get the clear picture. The Itmar Serches Chamoil. Umeisel b'chatzia derech. A person rented out a donkey and he died in the middle of the road. Oy vey. Amarav, im yesh b'damei alikach yikach. If there is enough money in the donkey to buy a new chamor, a new donkey that will be owned by the rental company, the one who rents out, then you're mechuyev to buy with that dead body, because the dead body is still mechuyev, it's still called hachamor hazeh, and with that money you buy yourself a new chamor and you continue the rent to your very irate customer. But liskoir al yiskoir, let's say the dead body is doing so badly, it is so worthless that you only have enough money in that dead body, you can sell it and only get enough money to rent a donkey, not to buy one. We all know the rental is much cheaper than buying the car, right? So Mimela, least go that far, you don't have to go. Why? We're going to see. In other words, the Baal Bais, who is mechuyev to give the renter who's now stuck middle of the road, very irate, is mechuyev to buy a donkey for himself and continue the rental. But to only rent from somebody else, if he's Avis rent a donkey, he doesn't have to go to Hertz rent a donkey and get a donkey to the customer. Why not? We're going to see soon, and we saw it yesterday. Shmuel Omar Aflis Koriskol. Shmuel argued with Rav and says, no, even if the only amount of money that's enough is to rent and not to buy, you rent another donkey for your customer and you give it to your customer. Why is that an argument? What's behind this argument about rental? Rav Sova loy mechalilan karna, Shmuel Sova mechalilan karna. Which means Rav says that the owner of the donkey, mechalinan karna, we don't say. Mechalinan karna means if I am not getting the capital, I do not retain the capital, I'm throwing money down the drain. In other words, if all I do is get someone else's donkey to serve you, I'm paying money, and I'm not going to get the donkey at the end of the journey. I rented it from someone else. That far I don't have to go. I don't have to mamish throw money in a way that will never come back to me. Why? That's not part of the obligation, says Rav, excuse me. That's where my obligation stops. You don't always say customer's always right to turn it over backwards. Shmuel Sover Mechalin and Kana. Shmuel says no. Shmuel says that even though you only you're renting, you're paying for rental. Who's you? the original rented donkey who failed, who flunked in the middle of the road, right? You do have, your obligation goes so far that even though we spoke about renting your donkey, you now have to rent someone else's donkey, pay I don't know, 200,000 shekel to the other one, give him the donkey, and never see the donkey back. The donkey goes back to the other rental. Yeah, that far says Shmuel, you do have to go. That's Machlokes Rav Shmuel. Yeah, if, in other words, let's summarize it. Let's define it. If one person has an obligation towards the other one as a stoicher, as a whatever, then do we say that my obligation to you is only up to the point where I will still get it back, the original item that I owe you, or do we say that I owe the service, or do we say no? Even if you're never going to see it back, you have to service him. You owe him a trip all the way to the end of the road, to Haifa, to wherever, and then you have to give it to him. Otherwise, no. Meisivi. Now we're going, the question will also help us understand better the concept. Meisivi, question from a brisa. Before we talk about the brisa, let me introduce to you, reintroduce to you the concept of mashkanta desura. Mashkanta desura, we saw in Daf Samach Zayin Amud Beis and other places in Shas. Mashkanta desura means as follows. Let's say, yeah, you owe me. Let's say, okay, let's say I owe you money. Yeah, okay. Let's say I owe you money, and then I said, listen, Yitzchok, I owe you money. I owe you, I don't know, 1,000,000 shekels. So I don't have 1,000,000 shekels to give you, but I'm going to mortgage my house. I'll be mishabed my land. I have a piece of land. I'll be mishabed my land to you for the next 10 years. Now, usually, what does shibud mean? I'm going to pay you cash as soon as possible and get the land back. Yeah. Here we say no. Mashkanta desura means that for the next 10 years, the land is yours. You're going to reap the benefits of the field year after year. And we have decided that each year is like 1/10 of a million. In other words, the mashkanta pays itself. That mashkanta is like a payment. In other words, if I come suddenly with 1,000,000 shekel, I win the lottery, how great, how good, amazing, fine. Then I'll get the karka back. It's not completely yours. However, as long as I don't have cash, you're supposed to not just keep it in your cupboard, so to speak, and not do anything with it. You're going to enjoy the karka, benefit from the karka year after year, and that will pay off the money. And we made like a pre-decision that every year, even if you have more or less, we'll still gauge it as, let's say, 1/10 of a million shekel, and that will be for 10 years. What happens at the end of 10 years? You enjoyed my land for 10 years, and that really is a form of returning the loan. Then the land comes back to me, Mr. Borrower. So far, so good. That's Mashkanta Desura, Daf Samech Zayin. On that, we say as follows. Let's say instead of a piece of land, you know what I mortgaged you as Mashkanta Desura? A tree. A very big, I don't own the land, maybe just the daladamas near the tree. The actual tree bears very nice fruit. For the next 10 years, that beautiful big tree will be yours. You'll actually benefit from the fruit. You're going to pick the fruit every year, sell them, do whatever you want for the next 10 years. And that's mortgage / payment of the debt. So far, so good. One sunny day, I don't know, 3 years or whatever into the, however many years into the agreement, the ilan, the tree dried up. Or all of a sudden, yeah, it was partially iktzatz, it was cut, it was severed, cut off. In other words, the tree, the chicken doesn't bear the golden eggs anymore. So now what do we do? What are we going to do now? We're both losing. Yeah, I'm the owner. You are the temporary owner. You are the malve. You're the temporary owner. And as such, what's your story? You want the tree to exist now, and I want the tree to come back to me afterwards. But that will never happen. What do? Shneim asurin boy. Neither me nor you, neither the malve nor the loive, are not allowed to take the tree, cut it completely, and burn it and use it, and destroy and finish it off. They can't do kalya. In other words, they can't actually. Why? Because each one can tell his friend, why are you taking the tree? Yeah, the malve is supposed to use it for the next 10 years. The loive, it tells the malve, you cannot take it either. You can't just cut the whole thing off and go home to burn it in your fireplace, because I'm supposed to get it back after 10 years. So what do? Take the tree that is dried, but still, it's still worth something. Let's say it's a really big tree. It's beginning to dry. We suspect things are happening. You sell it. You buy a piece of land, maybe not big. From the next piece of land, from the piece of land you bought, you're going to get what? Mr. Malve will eat and eat and eat all the fruit for the money that is owed. and the loive will get it back at the end of the term. Very nice. Oh, frag the Gemara. What does that have to do with us? The hocha over here came and the kimati yoivel. Oh, Yaakov is not here, but Yaakov mentioned that we don't mention yoivel. Let's assume the brisa was written where? In Eretz Yisrael. Yoivel applies in Eretz Yisrael. What happens when the yoivel will come? Kahadra ara lemara. The land will go back to its original owner, right? Let's say, get this story, the kakalia karna, which means I had my piece of land with what? I'm the loive. I had my piece of land with my tree from my forefathers, from my ancestors, from Yoshua bin Nun times. They would always be mine forever. You're causing me, Mr. Loive, because now you don't have your golden egg anymore, your chicken with golden eggs. What are you telling me to do? I should sell it and buy instead a piece of land from who? From Levi, from Yudale. Yudale, after when Yovel comes, Yudale will get back that piece of land. So again, listen to the very, very interesting comparison. Just like in the story of the donkey owner owes a donkey to the donkey driver, to the renter. And we say, wait, and we say, what? Says Rav, no Kalikarna. You can't ask him to buy something that will never return to the one owing the money, right? Such as, I don't have to rent your donkey and never see it again. Here, what do we see? Similarity. There's a parallel here. The person borrowing the money owes what? Money or land to the owner. Now you force him to buy a piece of land that will get out of his hands. Because sooner or later, Yovel would hit, Yovel would come, and then Mr. Borrower, who's the one mechuyev, the one subjugated, you're asking him to buy something that will go down the drain, that will go out the window, because the land is not really his. He bought it from someone, and will go back to him in Yovel, question mark. That's a problem. It's a problem with Rav. Answers the Gemara, no, don't worry. You know what the story over here is? The Zabin Leshitin Shnin. We're talking here that the Mr. Loive, who's a tree owner, sold the bad tree, and he bought the piece of land for 60 years. Yovel comes, if I'm not mistaken, once every 50 years. He bought it to surpass Yovel, to go over Yovel. How does that help? The Omar of Chizda, Omar of Ktina. Wow. If a person sold his land for 60 years, basically he creates a bridge over the Yovel. That land does not go back in Yovel. It doesn't go back in the Yovel. Shene'emar, how do you know? What's the source? Because it says, we saw it not so long ago in the Parsha, the Oretz lo timocher litzmisus. The land shall not be sold litzmisus for good, forever. What does it mean forever? Mi she'en sham yovel nitzmeses. Yeah, mi she'en sham yovel nitzmeses, yes sham yovel. In other words, if not for yovel, had it been in Chutz La'aretz or 2023, if there's no yovel, it would have been sold forever. Then yovel kicks in. When you sell a land today in Israel, as far as I know, it will belong to the owner, to the buyer forever. Maybe belongs to the country. If it's a kind of land that would otherwise be sold forever, comes the Torah, I don't like this capitalist business. You have to go back to the owner every 50th year. But Yeshem Yovel en nitzmeses. Yotztazu, excluding this kind of land, she'afal pi she'en shem Yovel en nitzmeses. This piece of land, even if Yovel wouldn't have existed, because the sale is temporary, the sale by itself, even if Mackenzie and McKinley are selling it to each other, it's a temporary sale. It's a sale on lease on 60 years. Then we say that if it's a sale that is not forever me'atzmoi, as of itself, but the contract, there Yovel doesn't affect it. So what? Mimela, that kind of sale is not called Kalya Karna. Kalya Karna means what? Kalya Karna means that I am now buying a piece of land I'm the loive. I'm the one owing you. I'm the one who is responsible and accountable. And what a mess. The hechzer I gave you, which is a tree, doesn't work anymore. I have to buy you something else instead. What do I have to buy you instead? I have to buy you a piece of land. Hey, why am I buying you a piece of land that I'm going to lose from? Because sooner or later, the piece of land will be like a rug being taken from under my feet. Says the Gemara, no. Because that piece of land is temporary up to 60 years, and the yovel doesn't affect it, so nobody's snatching it away from your hands. No, they're not taking it away from your hands because lemaisa, it's not yovel who's taking it. It's your own condition. You made the condition that after 60 years, it's going to go back to the original owner. That's not called that someone else caused it to you. Toysa says that, yeah, and by the way, the Gemara is going to change its mind, but at this point, the Gemara thinks that 6 years is such a long time, it's not called Kalya Karna. Kalya Karna means, within days, weeks, years, in the foreseeable future, I'm going to lose. But 60 years, that's a long time. You can't say, oh, it's such a temporary, they took away my field. 60 years is a very nice amount of time. You can't say that you are the big, underdog, the victim here, and you're too obligated because it was taken from you so quickly. However, the Gemara regrets, and the Gemara asks the question, yeah, frag the Gemara, that's very nice lomdus, but soif at the end of the day, lechimatu shitin shnin, yeah, we're a few lines before the wide lines, yeah, in Ayin Tes Amud Aleph. Soif at the end of the day, lechimatu shitin shnin, with all your nice lomdus, long time, short time, at the end of 60 years, kahadra ara lamara, v'kakal yakana. At the end of the day, after 60 years, what's going to happen? The land will go back to the owner. The borrower had to buy it in order to appease the lender. But at the end of the day, kalyakana, my original tree, which I gave you, would have lasted forever. Not the tree wouldn't last forever, but lamaisa, my ownership is non-stop. Lo mishane. Halachically, the tree, I'll replenish. Lo mishane. That little piece of land with the tree in it was mine forever. Yes, it was from my fathers, from forefathers, from the founding fathers. Yeah, Masha'en Ken. Here you're asking me to buy something which is temporary. 60 years, comparing to eternity, is temporary. So yes, you are telling me here to do what? To buy something because of my debt and appease the guy and give him something to eat the fruit from for 10 years or however much in Mashkanta Disua, even though I, the borrower, will never see it again at some point. Who is now attacked? Rav. Rav said not like that. Again, let's see, let's not lose focus. This is all an attack on Rav's word, because what did Rav say? Rav said, listen, I owe you a donkey, meaning if he dies, I'll have to buy myself another donkey that will be mine till 120 of the person or the donkey or both, yeah, whichever one comes first, yeah, 120, and rent it out to you for the second leg of the journey. That's all. But to start renting, giving cash to the other rental company and not see any return back, that I'm not mechuyev. The Gemara wrong, Rav, it seems to be. You see that in the case of Mashkanta Dusua, I am supposed to buy a piece of land which will eventually go back, eventually at some point, 60 years, 100 years, I don't know, eventually will go back to the original owner. And I, the borrower, will lose from it. Yeah? Ella, therefore the Gemara wants to answer something else, question soon. You know what the story is over here. We must say, according to Rav, Bizman she'en yovel noyeg. Oh, simple. This brisa, although it's in Eretz Yisrael, but the Mishnahs and the Brisa span over a very long period of time. This Brisa relates to a time when Yovel doesn't apply, like today. You know that, Baruch Hashem, I think I read recently that, I know I read, and I think it's true, that there are 49% of Jews in Eretz Yisrael. So we're almost there. We're very close to having a majority of Jews living in Eretz Yisrael, and if you have a majority of Jews living in Eretz Yisrael, then the Yovel should apply, even without Mashiach. I hope Mashiach comes before. There are many questions if they have to be in the original places, but the Shvatim. There are many issues. It's not the issue. I'm just, trying to get excited. Yeah. In any event, but here the Brisa talks about a time when Yovel doesn't apply, and therefore, don't be a crybaby. In other words, you're the loive. You're supposed to pay back to the malve with a piece of land that he slowly eats through. The tree doesn't work anymore. It's dying. Buy another piece of land in a time when Yovel does not apply, and the land will be yours forever. Till Mashiach comes for a very, very long time, for the foreseeable future. Now the Gemara wants to tell us another reason to prove that this is right. It makes sense to say that the Brisa spoke about a reality in which there is no Yovel. Why? If you want to tell me that the Brisa talks about a time when the Yovel does apply, if you wanted, like you wanted to attack Rav, tell me that we're talking here about a land that does go back to the original owner, and therefore the loiv who owes the money / land is going to lose at the end of the day. You'll have to get the karka back to somebody else. If so, if you don't care about mechalin and karna, what was the original problem? The tree. Well, if you anyhow say that Mr. Borrower is going to lose everything and just give him with never seeing it again, let him cut the tzivi, cut the trees, yeah, and give them to the lender. Benishkele, the lender, excuse me, the lender should cut them, and the lender should take them home. We're switching par b'chamor. We're switching one thing for the other. If you believe, anyways, that he's going to buy a land that will go back to, they will never see again. If so, yalla, why going through all this hassle of selling the tree that's about to die and get land? Cut the tree and give the tree to the owner. Let's say the tree is worth a lot of money. And says the Gemara, no, that's not a proof. Inishumha loikasha. That's not difficult. No. That is not a proof. In other words, it's not difficult now against Shmuel. Why? Zimnin deshal mushne mashkanta mikame yoivel, which means sometimes the what's his name, the borrower, makes sense. Let's say he borrowed it for 10 years. 3 years into the borrowing, the tree is there. The tree begins to show signs of death. The agriculture people say it's about to die. You have to do something about it. Both people are worried. What did we say? Okay, leave the tree alone or sell the tree for whichever amount of money and buy land instead of it. Why did we say buying land may be an issue? Because buying a land may be kalya karna. If I am the borrower, buying the land to appease my lender, but I'll have to give the land back too. It goes back by itself, by the way, in the 50th year, in the yoivel. Wait. That's not so simple. Why? And don't compare it also to the tree itself that's dying. Because sometimes Shnei Mashkanta, the years of the Mashkanta may finish before Yovel. Let's say we are in the 45th years of the Yovel. Yeah, 45, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 4 years to go, let's say, 5 years to go till the 50th. Maybe the Mashkanta is for 10 years. He will eat the land for 5 years, the lender, and the next 5 years it will still be mine. That's not called Kalya Karna. Get the story? Now it's a new information. In other words, if I give him the land, let's say I own land for 10 years, and let's say Shemitah is in 5 years. I buy the land, and for 5 years, my dear lender will eat up, and then say goodbye, thank you for paying back the loan through the land. The next 5 years, from year 44 till 49, the next 5 years, I, the borrower, will still enjoy the land. I will go back afterwards, that we don't care about. Since I, the borrower, will still be able to enjoy it for a certain period of time, that's not called Kalya Karna. In the story of Rav, what did we say? The donkey, rented donkey, yes, expecting me to buy what? To borrow a donkey from another guy. I'm not seeing 1 penny from it. 1 penny. It's a complete loss on my side. That's what companies do, like a loss leader. They lose for good service because in the big picture they gain. That's very American, very capitalist, and it's very nice. Rav says no, you can't be mechayev the person to do that and lose completely. Here, it's not a complete loss, and also you can't compare it. Why? Because he may get the karka back after, before Yovel and after finished paying. The loiva may get it back, and also don't compare it to the tree. No. The tree, if he cuts off the tree right now and takes the entire tree, kaput, zichron levracha, the loive, will never ever see it again. The trees don't regrow all of a sudden. The tree is dead. He took it. No. The shenk in the karka is not called a complete loss because I may be able to see the karka and regain a few years of joy and nachas from the land before it goes back. Inami, or another option, another difference between the tree that goes and the karka that goes, the matule zuzi upariklo arba v'chamesh shonin nikame yoivel, which means could be that the guy, I really, really wish for the loive to win the lottery or get an amazing promotion, or is the big rich uncle from America is going to give him Yerusha. Yeah, may he live long. In other words, matule zuzi. Sometimes all of a sudden the loive may pay parikla, may pay the whole thing in one shebang, one zbang, one boom, one shot is going to pay everything, the entire debt. And then what's going to happen? The land will go back to him 4 or 5 years before the yovel. Yeah, he already did the business of, the tree is dead. What can I do? I'm going to sell the tree, get a piece of land. That piece of land will eventually, will be lost for me eventually. But maybe there is a chance that you'll be able to pay before, get the land back, and you'll enjoy the land a few years before it goes back in yovel to the original owner. As opposed to the tree, to cut off the tree is terrible. Because why? Why are you saying cut off the tree from the poor loive and give the whole thing to the mal? Because if he cuts the tree, he'll never, ever, ever see the tree again. That's a difference. So let's summarize. And the story is like this. Again, Rav Shmuel had an argument, and this is the end of this sugya, by the way. So let's summarize. Rav Shmuel had an argument regarding what? Regarding if a person has a donkey to rent. He is mechuyev to provide not any donkey, but the donkey. This donkey is mechuyev to you. Donkey died in the middle. Oh, he calls him angrily, SMSing him, WhatsApping him, new donkey right now. I'm stuck in the middle of the road between Tel Aviv and Haifa. Blah, 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 blah. So what do? If there's enough money to buy another donkey from the carcass, to sell the carcass, sell the dead body of the animal, buy a cheaper donkey, and then continue the rent, everyone agrees that has to be done. The question between Rav Shmuel is the Baal Chamor actually mechuyev, is he obligated to take the money and rent? Yeah, he is one rental company. He doesn't have other chamorim around, and the chamor that, even if he does, is not mechuyev to him. The dead donkey produces financially how much? 200 zuz. 200 zuz you can't buy, you can only rent. Is he mechuyev to rent from another person in order to provide his customer with the service all the way to the end? Rav against Shmuel. Rav says no. Shmuel says yes. The Gemara is now attacking Rav. The whole attack with the Shemitah business, with the Yovel, was against Rav. You, Rav, you're telling me that what? That the person is not mechuyev to provide and how shall I say it? Fulfill his commitment on the expense of just losing? You see, no. You see that a person that owes land to his friend may buy a new land and let his lender eat and enjoy the fruit for a few years, even though he, the borrower who bought the land, will eventually see it flying off back to the soicher. Back to the moicher, back to the seller. That's how Yovel works. The one answer was, simple answer, enochinami. We're talking about a situation where there's no Yovel. No Yovel. If there is Yovel, then it's a question, and we saw the different levels of Kalikarna. But the one clear answer was, enochinami. You must say that the Brisa that says you're supposed to buy new land talks about a situation in which the borrower/buyer of the land who bought the land in order to pay off his debt will see the land after the mashkanta is paid, yeah, because we're talking about a time when Yovel doesn't apply and the land will stay forever. That's how Rav will explain the Brisa. Shmuel will not. Shmuel will say simply, no, Shmuel is happy with the Brisa. Shmuel says, look, you see, Kalikarna, I may have to rent and lose money and be in a situation where I will not see the money back. I'm just buying it for you to fulfill my commitment. That is Adkan Rav Shmuel. Okay? Beseder. New topic, not exactly new topic, new old topic. We're going to see today all kinds of cases regarding the breach of contract and all kinds of issues that happen in the middle of the road. All kinds of glitches and accidents that happen in the middle of a rental v'chule. Before we continue, I'll save you the agony of there was something very unclear in the sugya, so I'll just introduce and preface, and I'll say like this: we're going to talk now about a few cases of a person who rented a boat. Yeah. Now, what you have to know is that in this Metzias, you know how to sail a boat? Maybe I don't know how to stand by the helm, unless it's a photo, Yeah. So basically, a person rented a sfina with the boat skipper, with the sailor, with the captain, however you want to call him. Yeah, like a taxi driver. Usually when you hail a taxi, you call a taxi, usually there's a taxi driver inside. Yeah. Soon it will be robots, but yeah, in other words, so too, there's a taxi, there's a boat taxi, like in Venice, right? The gondola comes with a guy inside. I was never there. I was told, yeah, the sailor. So that's a reality. A guy rented a boat. Now, this is not a nice thing. You go to Jaffa or to Netanya with your kids for a little half-hour drive. We're talking about a merchant who wants to transport wine, let's say. That's just one example of the Gemara, from port A to port B. And he's in the boat. And in the boat also is Mr. Captain Cook, whatever. The captain there is, not driving. He's sailing the boat, yeah. And that's all very nice until da-da-da-dum. Ton Rabbanon. How nice. The person rented a boat with a guy inside. Don't worry, no one injured, no one dead, but the boat sunk. Yeah. in the middle of the way. Okay, very nice. Everyone survived except for the boat and except for the wine. Let's say it's wine. So both people lost. He lost the boat, he lost the wine. However, of course, Mr. Wine owner, who's paying for the journey, tells the boat owner, excuse me, I want to continue. Yeah. Let's say they stopped in a port. Yeah, the thing sunk, the thing drowned, the boat, and now they want to continue. He wants to continue. Who? The wine owner wants to get to his destination. Let's say he takes wine from Spain to Israel. Yeah. In Italy, in the middle of the road, yeah, in the middle of the sea, middle of the journey, the whole thing drowned. They're stuck there in Italy, and he wants to continue and continue to transport the wine to import it, export it to Eretz Israel. Rabbi Nosson says as follows. What is the discussion here? About half the journey. Continue the journey, or what? What would you say? Continue the journey or pay me back my money. Right? Let's say you prepaid, right? Or continue the journey or I'll only pay you half. Now, halfway he took him. Now, that we have established, yesterday, that you have to pay him for the half the trip he did. From Spain to Italy, which is half the trip more or less from Spain to Israel, more or less, yeah. Then what? Till Italy you got me. That you have to pay. Drown, not my fault, not your fault. Pay me for half. But the discussion is continue, or or if I prepaid, pay the whole money back. Interesting enough, says Rabbi Nosson, Im Nosson lo yitoil, Vim lo Nosson lo yiten. Very, very, very interesting Rabbi Nosson. Rabbi Nosson speaks about Nosson. Im Nosson lo yitoil, which means, let's say the person, the traveler prepaid for the entire journey, credit card online. Yeah, he prepaid for the whole thing in advance. Yeah, he gave everything. Then the boat owner is not supposed to give him back the money. Wow, interesting. The imloy nosan lo yiten. However, if he did not pay, if he paid zero, he has still 100% debit to pay him. He doesn't have to give him anything. Very strange. One thing we do see for sure, don't get confused, actually. If the words confuse you, I'll take you out of the confusion in a second. Basically, what we're saying is whoever holds the money keeps the money. If the 100% of the money is in the hands of the traveler, he doesn't have to give one dime. If 100% of the money is already in the hands of the boat owner, he doesn't get to give anything back. And if you don't understand it, you're in good hands, good company, because the Gemara doesn't understand it either. Hey Chidami, whoa. Hey Chidami. Hey Chidami is like, what's your story over here? Ilema, and again, depends what the conditions were. Ilema besfina zu, the yain stam. Let's say the condition was, I'm mechuyav to take you with this boat, not any boat. Not that I have 10 boats. I'm not Mr. I don't know. I'm not from the Marines. Yeah. What? Besfina zu. This boat, I'm mechuyav to take you from Spain to Israel. Yeah. Which means if the boat dies in the middle, I'm not mechuyav anymore, right? Not my fault. There was a storm. The yain stam. Let's say the wine was mechuyav was to take any wine of yours, not only this wine. You have to bear in mind, by the way, just think about it for a second before we continue. When we talk about yain stam, it means what? That, by the way, yain stam doesn't mean for kashrus reasons. Know what it means? Yeah, yain stam means if your wine drowned, where exactly are you interested to go to, right? Your trip is anyhow over. It's not my fault. Oh, let's say the wine owner says, no, we're now in Italy. I'm a very big international merchant. Yeah, I can very quickly get other. Yeah, I am mechuyev to the shops in Israel, to Rami Levi and whoever, and to Osher Ad, what? All these bottles from Spain. I'll quickly get another cargo of wines from Spain or wines from Italy and continue the journey. I want to continue the journey. And it's your stupid boat that drowned. So now, let's again ask the question. Ilema bisfina zu v'yain stam. If the obligation of the sfina was only this boat, but if the boat is dead, there's no more chiyuv. But on the other hand, yain stam, the person, the wine merchant, wants to continue the journey. The wine guy says, no, any wine. Yain stam means not only these bottles of wine from Spain, from Jerez. No, any wine. I'm mechuyev to take any wine from here to Eretz Israel. I want to continue the journey. If so, if these are the conditions, im nosan, if he gave all the money, amai lo yitol. Why doesn't he deserve his money back? Why is the customer not deserving his money back? Namely, he should tell him sarcastically, of course, Havli Sfina, give me your boat, which you can't, because it died. as far as I'm concerned, excuse me, I would like to what? I would like to continue the journey. And mechuyev, you're mechuyev to what? Continue the wine. Yain stam, right? In other words, so yes, give me another. I don't care about your sfina zu. What do you mean? I want to get my wine all the way there. So you got me halfway, shkoyach. Now the other half, either provide me with another boat. You can't provide me with your boat. Your boat sunk. I'm willing to continue. It's your boat. I don't care if it's your fault, not your fault. But Lamaisa, don't tell me you're holding the money. Give me back half the money or continue the journey. Ella, or otherwise, besfina stam the yainze, the opposite. Let's say the sfina was any boat. Yeah, I'm interested in what? Any boat. In other words, says the original agreement was Mr. Boat owner said, I have a whole, how do you say, like I have a flotilla, I have a whole group of many, many boats. How do you say that? I have a flotilla of 10, 20 boats. I'm mechuyev to a sfina, any of the one in the flotilla. Yeah, the sfina stam, the yain ze, but the wine merchant said, this wine is the wine that I want to be taken, not any wine, the opposite, yeah? If so, im loy nosan, amai lo yiten. Then excuse me, why do you say the other way that Mr. Wine Guy, if he didn't give any money, why doesn't he owe him half? He should at least, what, pay him for the half. Why? Because now the Baal Sfina is right. Baal Sfina says, name a lay, the Baal Sfina tells to the wine owner, the boat owner says to the wine owner, Havleo Chamra, give me that wine, meaning sarcastically, your wine drowned, I'm sorry, give it back to me. As far as I'm concerned, I have another boat. Yeah, I'm going to call my company in Spain or in Israel. I have a branch here in Italy. I can get another boat. I'm willing to continue. You messed it up. At least pay me for what? Pay me for at least half, if not for all. That's another shaila, but definitely not zero. In other words, the question is as follows. The question is basically what the Bryce said at the beginning. I want to shed light here because it's not about this or that case. It's about a concept. The concept is we are overusing, overrating the idea of a Metzia mechaber l'varaya, right? In other words, whoever is muchzak with the money is the one who's going to hold the money. Either 100% is held by the wine guy or 100% by the boat guy. The Gemara says, why? Well, obviously, if it's definitely one person's issue because the other one is willing to continue and has the ability to continue, and you're the one who's stopping the journey, so obviously, I don't care who's holding the money. The one who's being unfair for not continuing the job, or the other side wants to continue, he should pay, at least pay half, right? And therefore, when do we say this reality of both sides, that either side, that whoever holds the money keeps 100% of the money, when do we say that? Amar of Papa, lo meshkachas lo, you can only find that reality that we say hamachzik is going to win, Metzia mechaber l'varaya, ela b'sfina zu v'yain ze. Oh, let's say both sides, yeah, it's both sides' fault, which means the Sfina guy says, I'm only mechuyev what? I'm mechuyev only this boat, no other Sfina. I'm not going to continue. I said, this boat, the boat drowned, not my fault. Yain zeh, the wine guy says, I said I want this wine, I don't want to continue the journey. Oh, so both sides are at fault. Both sides, none of them can actually continue the journey. If nobody can continue the journey, both of them are equally at fault. Oh, that reminds us of a concept we had already twice before, like the poilim and the balabais when it started to rain. Remember, we said if there's a reality which is nobody's fault or both people's fault equally, when equal footing, we're both standing there saying, no, I can't continue because I only committed to this boat and it drowned. And the other guy says, yeah, the wine can continue. Nobody can continue their tie. Then we say, okay, what do you do in a situation of tie? It's not exactly a variety, by the way, because it's not a proof over here. Then we say, whoever holds the money keeps the money. You keep things as they are. Nobody has enough power to take money from his friend. I'm going to finish soon. You have to get just that, and then we'll finish. Aval, however, besfina stam, v'yain stam choilkin. Oh. That is very interesting. How about if, both sides say, I'm willing to continue, so why don't they continue? Because it costs them money. Let's say both sides are mechuyev to continue. Sfina stam and yain stam. The boat guy, his boat drowned. halachically, he's supposed to get a new boat and continue. Because he said, Stam, Sfina, any boat. The wine guy, the wine drowned, he's supposed to continue. So if both people, are actually should have continued and they don't, then they really owe money to each other. When there's no chiyuv, the previous case of Sfina Zubayain Zeh, nobody really owes anything to his friend. I said, as long as the Sfina is alive, I owe you. It's dead, I'm not mechuyev. Same thing with the wine. Nobody owes anything, so money should stay wherever it is. Here it's the other way. We both actively owe each other. If I say, I'll give you Sfina or any Sfina, and I, from the customer side, I'm asking you to continue the journey, but nobody fulfilled their condition, then you have a mutual tvia, very nice. Each one can claim for his friend. I'm now the wine guy, and I'm his lawyer, Mr. Sfina guy. You said Sfina Stam, get another boat here in Italy, continue to Eretz Israel. Why don't you? You have an active chiyuv. You're not going to pay me. You're not going to continue the boat. Then pay me money. Pay me money. Now the other guy. Now you tell me. I'm the wine guy. It's the wine guy. Wine guy. Wise guy. You said any wine. I thought, says the boat guy, I'll continue all the way and make money until Eretz Yisrael. You are mechuyev to provide me new wine in order to have a job all the way to the end to the Eretz Yisrael, and you don't. And therefore, in this case, they share the money. In this case, we don't say Motzim Chavero because he has a real taina. You can't say I'm holding the money. What do you mean? You owe me. You owe me that money. Let's talk about a reality in which, let's say, the wine guy didn't pay anything. He paid zero, started the trip, owing him 100%. And the thing happened in the middle. Boom! In Italy, everything drowned. Says Mr. Bodga, Mr. Wine guy, excuse me, I'm willing to continue. You have to continue because he said any wine. You promised me to go all the way to Eretz Yisrael with your wine or get new wine. You don't? Pay me money. What do you mean you're holding the money? It's like I have a shtar against you. If I have an IOU against Mr. Avram Yitzchak, then you can't say Motziv Chavero. Yeah, there's a shtar against you. Here too, the fact you said any sfina will continue, you're mechuyev to continue the journey. You don't want to continue the journey, pay me money. And also the other way around. And on the other hand, let's say Mr. Wine guy paid everything to the boat guy. He paid everything to the boat guy. Then he can say, Mr. Boat guy, I'm willing to continue, and you have to continue. You said any boat. Where is your other boat that want to continue now to Eretz Yisrael? It's not there suddenly. Pay me money. What do you mean, what's in Chavero? You owe me real thing. It's in your pocket. Thank you. You have a fat pocket. Get out of your pocket. If you don't continue the trip that you owe me, because you said any boat always at your service, give me the money. So what do you do? They share. Cholkin means you go and you pay him till the half of the journey. And the other half, you don't, but at least half you should give him. You should give him at least the half because half you owe him. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's review. You can watch it online and see again and again. Revise the Gemara. Atzlach Rabbi will be able to be mekabel the Torah with love and simcha. You too. It says that the great people of the past, I heard yesterday by Rav Melech Biderman, they could hear the voice of Hashem on Shavuos saying, Anoch Hashem Elokecha. There's mamash real Nesina Sator in Shavuos. That's it. May you be zeiche. Thank you very much. Atzlach Rabbi.